creating curiosity by asking better questions. This is Shed Talk. Well, if you didn't listen to the first one, this is Chad and Mike, and welcome back to the things you know that you don't know. All right, breath work. How really important is breath work?
I would think crazy because you can't live without it.
I know, but isn't there's you were talking earlier about Tony doing this breath work. What is it?
Everybody's got there's so many different people talking about it and different ways of getting oxygen into your system and well, you were just talking about VO max and why are you trying to get all this oxygen in is also interesting. The fact that every breath you take is a little bit more swelling that can happen in your system. So it's a matter of, I think it's an interesting balance of forcing all this oxygen in it, knowing that you're also creating a future problem of inflammation.
I would do
the
breath.
idea,
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, I kind of got slightly introduced to breathwork through Wim Hof.
Yeah.
And oxygenating your blood. And for a while there, my workouts, I was doing some breath work and trying to oxygenate your blood. And then, so you sort of do this breath work routine and then hold your breath and then drop on the floor and see how many push-ups you can do without breathing. And it's crazy once you start to oxygenize your blood. I think I got up to like 50 push-ups without breathing. And just like it didn't make any sense to me, but it was crazy to see it and see what you could do once you oxygenize your blood.
Well, when you talk about the question too, though, is breath work. It's not that you need more oxygen. Your blood has enough oxygen to survive quite a period of time. It's the carbon dioxide that you're creating that you have to expel. So the idea of breathing is to able to get more carbon dioxide out. So it's not that you need to breathe in as much as you need to breathe out. In order to breathe out, you need more oxygen in. So you got to breathe air in to get carbon dioxide out. So it's interesting that it's a reverse of what you really need. You don't need more air in, you actually need more carbon dioxide out.
Right. Because when I'm doing my workouts with weights or anything like that, it's always deep breaths, then get ready, and then all of a sudden I can just feel energized to go into a lift or whatever that I'm going to do, and it just feels better.
Well,
and
yeah, your blood would be all fired up.
Hey, take a minute and smash that subscribe button, and let's get back to the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I'd like to look more into is just daily breath work and sort of how to use that to energize, start the day out.
Goes to the morning routine. How's the Peloton going?
Good. It's the morning routine has been modified now, so it's a sort of 5 o'clock start into the gym, and just out of necessity with 2 little girls. Those tiny little terrors wake up at 6:30, so any chance to go to the gym after 6:30 is out the door. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the gym, and then Thursday, Friday on the Peloton, and just zone 2 workout. That was actually my doctor's goal he wants to see my VO2 max increase. So I've got to do a lot of zone 2 training, and then I've got to try and spend, I think he said 15 minutes a week in zone 6. So kind of like 180 beats per minute on your heart. So you got to spread that out because it's pretty intense.
So 180 beats per minute. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Everyone's zones are different. So like the rule of thumb for zone 2 training is, whether you're biking or running, can you breathe through your nose, but like mouth closed, and sort of maintain a conversation. Zone 3 is kind of where you're stopping to talk. Like you're having a conversation in spurts because you're breathing harder. And then zone 4 is just sort of all mouth work, all like you're just trying to get massive quantities of oxygen through zones 4, 5, and 6 in. So zone 2 is great for weight loss. and then these higher zones at shorter periods of time are great for increased VO2 max. So like right now my VO2 is at 50, which I'm told is good. Elite athletes are 60 to 65, and so he's trying to get me up to 55. So that'll be, I don't have no idea how hard it is to do, but we'll see where I get another retest in a couple months. We'll see how I'm doing.
So does that take your heart rate into consideration? So what is it, like 220? So what is it, 220 minus your age, and that's your heart rate, and then the zones would be different from there? Like when you say
So
180 beats, correct?
I'm just going off of like my Apple Watch.
Oh, okay.
So whatever, yeah. I mean, that's
It's pretty high tech.
I'm yeah, pretty high tech for an idiot. So, but yeah, so like my zone 2 is like I think 117 to 125 beats per minute, and then I think my zone 6 is like 175 to 180. So,
And you don't do any of that, Kevin.
No,
you're just weights.
Yeah, I'm weights, but my zone would be, so for a cardio burn, I would be probably about 145 on a cardio burn for about 3 minutes, and then if I'm doing full cardio, and then my zone's a little different because I'm 55, so I take your heart rate minus your age, so 220, 122 minus your age, 55, so I should be, what is that, 122 minus 55, 70, whatever that is. So that would be my supposedly your resting heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, or is it, I'm not even sure which part it is, but yeah, it's a 145 for burning calories, and then a little bit higher. I'm not into the high cardio burn at 180, so I stay off that level because I'm not into the fat loss. I'm into muscle gain. So cardio for me we don't call it bad. Cardio is very important. There's no such thing as a bad workout, but it's just which means are you going into? Are you there to build? Are you there as a bodybuilder? Are you there as a runner? Strength training. So each has their own specific workout regime. So it's like, have you ever seen a bodybuilder that's a runner that does marathons? No, they're two totally different looking people. And yet the training is also true. Their VO max would be different. Everything's different. So that whole process would be different as well. So I was talking to Chad earlier today, and I just had mentioned about Sammy Hagar. Was it 2015? Wrote out on a well, I would say a piece of paper. It actually wasn't. So the question that he'd asked was, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And so Sammy Hagar put on his thing, when was the last time he did this for the first time, was on for Instagram, or the post for the first time ever. And this is before he was famous or anything, was in 2015. So he had posted that, and it was interesting to ask that question. The first time that you ever did something back in the day that you looked at. And I'm going to give an experience share, is that I was sitting in my shed here, and I first heard about AI. That particular moment in time that you got to hear something for the first time, that knowing was a game changer, but not realizing it's a game changer. And that was sitting here with AI, or sorry, not with AI. Someone, Chad, introducing me to AI, saying, hey, take a look at this. What do you think of this? And going, what? No way. This is the greatest gift. This is pretty cool. And so here we go, a couple years later. I don't even know if it's a couple of years.
No, it's 1 year.
1 year. And the changes that has done. So I'm going to throw that out to you guys for curiosity as a better question, is that what was that one thing that you did for the first time that really created whatever that is to you?
So many things. You got a list, Boyle?
I remember being at university in Melbourne and logging on to Facebook for the first time and just like being blown away at the ability to connect with people, share things. Like, I don't know, I mean, that was 2006, 2007. But yeah, I just remember thinking like this is powerful. Like this is crazy.
And you could only get on it. And you could only get on it at school, because Facebook, when it came out, was only for the schools.
Yeah,
universities.
or invite.
Yeah.
You can get invited on. But
Yeah, I think by this point it was by 2006, 2007 it was more public. Um, but yeah, it was. I mean, I wasted so much time on Facebook because it was just like a drug. It was just like this, it was just so new and yeah, it was totally crazy. And then the other one was Instagram. Was just thinking like this is a game changer for business, for everything. Um, but yeah,
Mine
it's
was, I remember one of them was I was dating my now wife, and she was trying to get a hold of me. And so she was phoning my pager because I had it on a belt clip. And then I would track down a phone and I would phone her back. And then it was like an ultimate phone tag. And I remember it being like 5 hours. Like she would phone and say, okay, well, buzz me, but I'm nowhere near a phone. I'd go get to a phone. She couldn't answer. So I remember taking my pager and chucking it against the wall and going to the store and getting my first cell phone. And that would have been 95.
What was the cost?
I don't remember. But I remember getting my first phone was just a little tiny.
Oh, so
I
you
think it
never
was
had
a
the brick.
Nokia.
You never had the brick phone.
No, I had the Motorola. Now that you mention it, is that white Motorola with the flip on it. And yeah,
nice.
crazy.
And I remember when you go back, let's get back, and then all of a sudden, with Cantel days, and then all of a sudden you used to have to go to AT, I think it was AT&T or
Yeah.
Rogers, and you'd actually have to go in and get the antenna put on your car. And it was the coolest thing that, he has a cell phone, he has an antenna. Or some people walked around with this big brick going, oh, how are you doing? And remember, cell coverage was there probably, I don't think there was very much cell coverage.
No. No.
Yeah.
It was better than pager coverage.
There was a point in time too where people were getting the cell antennas put on their car without the cell phone.
Yeah, I think I did that on my Chevette.
As a status. So
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
it was a lick and stick.
Yeah. And you used to get them at Radio Shack. Do you remember
Yeah.
Radio Shack back in the day? And
Yeah.
they used to put that,
Yeah.
get it on there, and you used to say, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got a phone in there, and
Yeah.
you just drive around. Oh, yeah.
So speaking of status things, there was a girl that I dated, and her in England, and her friend was from Russia, and her dad was fairly high up in the Russian army or military and defected to England, or made their way to England. And she told me that her dad had been somewhere on a military trip and got a can of Coke and brought the can back home for her. And she used to fill it up full of water and walk around holding a can of Coke in Russia because the status symbol was the fact that you had access to a can of Coca-Cola. And I thought, isn't that crazy? You're treating it like a water bottle, and this can of Coke that literally is garbage in the rest of the world is a status symbol based on the fact that you can't get it. That always stuck out to me as just like the craziest thing to think about.
So what would be that of today? So take that same story. Okay. What is the one item that you'd carry today that would represent that status symbol?
Everything's available now.
Is it?
Well, more so. Other than maybe a run on shoes or something with a bit of a limited drives up. You heard about the NFTs?
Now,
Okay.
yeah. But now you look at, I don't know if it's happening in Calgary, but thrifting has become a big thing. That now young kids wouldn't be caught dead wearing something brand new. If it's not used, it's not cool.
My son goes thrifting all the time. I've gone with him. It's
And
actually
where do you
kind
go?
of a fun
Yeah.
adventure. Thrift stores, they're all over the place.
And then
Used clothing. Yeah.
Oh,
Everything's
I
like
mean, the
$6,
greatest-
$10.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it from a business model, Value Village might be the greatest business on the planet.
Yeah.
Because they have all of their inventory is given to them for zero. Everybody thinks it's a not-for-profit business. It's a for-profit business. And they own some incredible real estate across the country. So like it's mind-boggling how great that business is. And so they're taking your inventory at zero and marking it up to whatever you need to mark it up to. And now there's businesses based off of that where people are going to Valley Village, buying the inventory and then taking it back to their thrift shop and marking it up again. So it's this crazy upcycle.
But is that considered bad or good?
Hey, take a minute and smash that subscribe button, and let's get back to the episode.
I think the upcycle movement is, we're reusing things more, which is good. Patagonia, for example, they have a lifetime warranty on their clothes. So you get a pair of jeans, got a hole, get a hole somewhere, take it into the store, they send it off, and they'll patch it up for free. And any clothes that they can't repair, they will break down and use to manufacture new clothes, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. Retreading
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got any other curiosities
The
going
whole-
on? What's going on else over there in your book there, Kevy?
Well, that's where I'm trying to, I'm looking at that and dig deeper onto that whole curiosity thing with the thrift store, because what a great model when you think about it in thrifting. And then talking about that can of Coke and then going through that,
Well,
what
you
would
go to
pull
a
out of
different city or you go to a different town, there's different clothing trends that were happening. So you have a whole different model immediately when you go somewhere else. Or people have traveled and left clothing, and now that's, I mean, I wonder where all the airport stuff shows up. If does someone, all of the luggage, it doesn't go anywhere, where does that actually end up?
Or,
I
like
think they are-
security. What about security? You lose your knife, you lose all that.
Yeah, well, I think I might be mistaken, but I thought I had heard of all of the bags that are lost that go unclaimed. You can buy them. And so it's kind of like buying storage lockers. You're buying briefcases and travel bags, don't know what's in them, and then you just take them and open up, and away you go. So
Interesting. Have you ever dealt in NFTs?
No.
Mike, have you ever dealt in NFTs? Do you know much about them?
I know enough about them to never spend money on them.
Ah.
It's kind of like the guys that started it. What I had read was there's a group of guys that started, and it was just they were trading NFTs back and forth and running the price up. So it would go, okay, Kevin, you've got an ape, and Chad, you've got an ape, and you guys are just trading, this back and forth, driving the price up, waiting for someone like me who's out of the circle to come and buy it and then make money that way. I mean, if you look at how fast the price of NFTs rose, like within a week, there was guys, you could get there was like the NBA had NFTs for like 5-second video clips, and you could buy an NFT for $400. And by the end of the week, guys were flipping LeBron NFTs for like $100,000. Like, it was insane. And then the value of everything just crashed. I mean, but where is the value in an NFT? Like, you can screen share, how do you really care that much to say that you own the NFT when you can just like Google it and put it on your wallpaper?
So we're not seeing
I just don't
NFTs.
see the
Well, it's worse now with AI. You can say, create an image likeness of LeBron James doing that exact same thing, and it would almost recreate it. So it's,
yeah.
On your
Have you
venture-
guys been following the soap opera drama of OpenAI this week?
it's crazy, hey? Well, that Kevin's got Chat GPT tattooed somewhere, but
Oh, I live and breathe the Chat GPT, and I go through that all the time, and that's where for me it's a great tool, because being dyslexic and the reading ability, and all of a sudden using this is like having your own personal assistant, and it's totally changed the game. So when I went through school and going through school and having to rewrite this and do this, man, if I would have had that during school, man, I would have been. Well, I'd be exactly where I am today.
well, now listen to the drama that's gone on, though. You don't know anything about this, but this drama's gone on since last Friday till today.
Yeah.
And it got resolved
So Friday-
today, but go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Friday, Sam Altman gets fired as CEO from OpenAI. They
So one of the
put in an
original
interim-
founders of
Yeah, they put in an interim CEO. By Sunday, they've named a new CEO, who was the founder of Twitch, the video streaming app. And at some point, 700 of 770 employees said, if you don't bring Altman back, we're going to Microsoft. Like,
we're all
can
quitting.
you imagine? They've got OpenAI has a $90 billion market cap, and Microsoft could have just inherited all those employees for free, which is basically the company.
Well, but Microsoft
But they've got
invested 13 billion into it.
Yeah, they're a 49% shareholder of OpenAI. So, their best case scenario is Altman gets back in as CEO.
But they hired
Um,
Altman. So Microsoft
They hired him, yeah.
said, okay, you're hired. We'll just take you. And then as of this morning, OpenAI
he's back as,
hired him back as.
Yeah, board's gone, been replaced, and he's back as CEO.
Yeah. So
And the crazy thing is, all that was said was his inability to communicate has prevented the board from exercising its duty, but no examples were given. So who knows what's gonna.
Well, it
what's
seems,
gonna
but at the
happen.
end
But
of the
we
day, Kevy, chat's still back to normal. You can still use it. You're good.
and you think of the power of
Yeah.
this one guy.
Yeah,
The
one
power
guy.
of this one guy that all of a sudden he's going to
Oh,
move
yeah.
over, and then for whatever the board says, because usually the board has a huge say in anything you do. So they do this, and then all of a sudden, $13 billion or wherever that comes in, whatever it doesn't matter the number, but the power you're able to say, no, I think I'm going to do this.
Hey, take a minute and smash that subscribe button, and let's get back to the episode.
What
Yeah.
control do you
Yeah.
have?
Yeah, they had the non-profit. They designed it that way. I guess the original intent was as a fail-safe to make sure that ChatGPT was on some form of rails. Whoever was deciding that, and so again, the nonprofit's job was to control that. However
Yeah.
much they overstep is what we're looking at.
But apparently, ChatGPT 5 is just insane, which I can't imagine because 4 was crazy as it was. But apparently, ChatGPT 5 is just like scary
So how do you feel?
in a good or bad way.
How do you feel
Yeah.
Microsoft feels about this right now? That they could have, should have, would have had that guy.
They still do
I think,
because they
They
own
still do.
49%
I
of ChatGPT. So.
yeah, I think that from Microsoft's standpoint, it's better if he is the CEO of OpenAI because they will gain all of the benefits without any of the risk.
At an arm's
creates
length.
an arm's
Yeah.
length
That's right.
transaction. So, but I mean, it's interesting to look at what will a year ago, not many people knew what ChatGPT was, and now everybody knows what it is. So if you look at what Moore's law is the computing power and doubling every 15 months, I think, and that sort of you look at the computers in the mid 90s to where we are now, right? I mean, even in the 70s, they used to take up an entire building, and now we've got some of the most powerful computers in our pockets on our phones, and the speed at which Moore's law doubled. Now you look at that with the same sort of idea with AI, 1 year to mass adoption. Like a year ago, nobody really understood it. Everybody was kind of, like yourself, Kevin, like, oh, what's this AI thing? Like, what can this do? And now everybody's got it on their phone. Everyone's using it. Everyone's embedding it. Everyone's using it as the backbone for businesses. So what does that do to the economy? I had dinner with some guys last night, and they said, I don't know if designers are going to have jobs in a year because of what AI can do. Right? I mean, developers are already using it as like Copilot products to get the base level of code going, and then the conversation turned to, well, what about blue collar jobs? What jobs will be safe in the future? Where do you go for work? If you think, okay, well, I'll be a carpenter or a plumber or an HVAC tech. But if everybody goes into those fields, it's kind of like what happened with computing, right? Everybody got out of blue collar jobs and into programming. If everybody goes back into blue collar jobs, how are those businesses going to do on a supply and demand curve? And so it's an interesting thought process to go through of like what everything will eventually be disrupted, but to what extent?
And don't they say like
it'll be
80 or
interesting.
90% of the jobs that the kids growing up right now haven't even been created yet? So
Well,
it's just an interesting.
Yeah.
think about it like this. Well, remember when everybody was horse and buggy, right? So everywhere you had horse and buggy, everywhere where you look after the horses, where you looked after the buggies, and what thriving business that they had the roadways back in the day, way back when. Then all of a
With a
sudden,
shovel.
the shovel, yeah, and then where that went, that literally changed overnight when the invention of cars. Well, I say invention of cars, but all of a sudden of the vehicle. And then all of a sudden, gas station, and it created something that the things that you didn't know, that all of a sudden that was a huge disruptor. And then families had to change, and then lifestyle changed. We were able to move spread out and live further away because now we could get to places way quicker than horse and buggy, obviously, and that changed. So that was
what
probably one of
Sam
our biggest.
Altman talks about is he talks about the idea that the economy is going to the cost to do things is going to reduce to almost a 0 point. So the idea is that the economies themselves have enough income in the economy for everyone to live on a zero workload. So the idea is hopefully that, and I don't know how, I haven't dipped into that vision of how that could possibly work, but that's what he's seeing in the future for what all these AI bots can do.
Well, and you were talking earlier about the trades, plumbers and stuff like that. We recognize right now in the trade industry for my business is that all of a sudden for somebody that's retired, so for every retired, how many people are coming into the industry, and it is very low, and we're having to actually change the way we do things, thanking to AI, CAD drawings, 3D printing, different ways of doing business to try to elevate our game to actually control labor, meaning get more labor in, and get more people trained. So that's becoming a very, will there be work with AI? And they talk about, what they call it, transform. I don't call it transformers, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator.
Singularity.
I see this as a huge opportunity for everybody, and it's just who's ever at the forefront, seeing it first wins. First in, first wins. The people that the scaremongrels and people are the fearmongrels that are scared. That's what the future really looks.
It's not going anywhere.
No, we just need to make sure that we're tapped in and doing everything together.
Yeah. Are we really here?
Are we? That's another question.
Next time.
Next time. Chad, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Mike, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Today.
Thank you very much. Had a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you know. Shed Talk.